So in the last video we saw about the local defense system of our body to prevent the entry of the germs or the infections into the body. Now we see the next level of our protection, and that is nothing but immunization. So next one. So first one was local defense, and the next one is now immunity. So immunization or immune system, that is immune system. Now, so in case it so happens that even after having so much of protection from the different kind by the different kinds of methods of preventing the infection from entering into the body, if the infection still is able to enter into the body, so if the local defense system are not effective in all cases, so the local defense system is not effective in all the cases and circumstances, certain microbes or germs or their poisonous secretions, that is toxins, do enter the deeper tissues and various organ systems by their special mechanism of entry or through any breaches in the protective barrier. So it may happen that the infections, or you can say the germs can, or even if not the germ completely, the toxins, that is the chemical secretions of the germs, they enter into our body bypassing the different protective mechanism or passing through the different protective mechanism, or sometimes there is a breach. That means there may be a crack or something may be there in our body which is allowing that germ to enter into the body. So if such a thing is there, then the body has been infected. So we see that in such a case that the body will have that germ or the toxin or the infection present in them. At this stage, the blood or other fluids start fighting against the germs or any other unacceptable foreign substances. So if such a thing happens, then our blood, our other body fluids, they are going to start fighting against this foreign substance which has entered into the body. The body fluids contain special proteins called antibodies which react with the invading germs, and antitoxins which react with the toxins to destroy them, and thus they provide protection against diseases. So we have got two things now. We have got, one are the germs. So to kill the germs, there will be a production of antibodies by the body. So the blood is going to start producing secretions which will be killing the germs, that are called as antibodies. And another one could be antitoxins. So one is antibody to kill the germs, and another could be antitoxins to make the toxins harmless. So germs के लिए antibodies and toxins के लिए antitoxins, so that they can get destroyed and the body could be protected against the disease. So in this way, the secretion given out by the body in the form of antibodies and the toxins is nothing but the immune system of our body. So immunity is the resistance to the onset of a disease after infection by harmful germs. So what is immunity? It is that particular resistance offered by the body against the disease even if the infection has entered into the body. Okay, so once the infection has entered your body, uske baad bhi, if you are not getting the disease, that means your body is going to fight against that germs and not affect your body or going to protect your body, then that particular system of your body is the immune system, or that is the immunity of your body. So immunity is the resistance to the onset of disease after infection by harmful germs. To define more elaborately, immunity is the capacity of our body to deal with foreign substances, for example, bacteria, viruses, toxins, etc., that enter our body and to render them harmless. So, or simply, it provides resistance against disease causing germs. So, it is, we can say, the capacity. What is immunity? We can define immunity as the capacity of our body. It is the capacity of our body to deal with the foreign substances like the viruses, bacteria, and infections and toxins which are entered into the body and to render them harmless, to make them harmless to the body. That is nothing but immunity, or we can just say in a simple words, resistance to against the disease causing germs is immunity. So that is how we are having immunity in the body. Now immunity are of different kinds. So there are different kinds of immunity which is going to be there in our body. So we can easily understand immunity in this way, that immunity is actually a secretion. Okay, what is going to happen is when there is any kind of infection entering the body, our body is going to fight against it by providing some kind of a secretion. So that secretion will be such that it will be specific for that particular infection only. Let's take an example of chickenpox. You must have always heard that अगर एक बार chickenpox हो गया तो दूसरी बार chickenpox नहीं होता. Why is it so? Why would it happen that once you are infected by chickenpox, then it will never happen that you can get chickenpox once again? Or in case also, if somebody is having the chickenpox second time, it's a very very rare case, or it will be there in a very very minute quantity. So it is because that once the chickenpox virus has entered into your body, the body started fighting with that particular infection. And the body, while fighting the infection, it came to have a formula, okay, it got a formula by which it could kill that particular infection. Let's consider कि एक recipe book है. Okay, there is a recipe, our body has got a recipe book. वो recipe book किसका है? Antibodies and antitoxins का. अच्छा, ये टॉक्सिन आया तो वो मारने के लिए ये रेसिपी बुक में से ये प्रोडक्ट बनाना है और उसको देना है तो वो मर जाएगा. Right, so in this way the body is going to have those kind of memory cells which is going the recipe book, which is nothing but the method by which it can kill that particular infection which has entered your body. So in this way, if that particular kind of infection को मारने का जो recipe है is available with you, then you are having immunity towards that disease. Right? So immunity will be available to you if your body has got that recipe in your blood, or if that body has got that particular recipe with it, that how to kill that particular infection. So either thing is that it is available to you directly by birth, or it is in the due course of your life that you are generating some recipes to kill the different germs. So accordingly, you will be having the immunity of your body. Right? Now certain infections are such that the recipe is going to not be stored for a longer duration of time, and that's why you may suffer from those kind of infections on a regular basis, or quite often, like cough and cold. Okay, there is no immunity towards cough and cold. Cough and cold will एक बार आया चला जाएगा, फिर से 3-4 महीने के बाद आ सकता है. It can just keep on repeating. But there are certain diseases like, as I told you about chickenpox, that एक बार आया तो उसके बाद दूसरी बार नहीं आ सकता, because your body has got that immunity towards that particular thing. So accordingly, we see that immunity of the body can be of two kinds. Okay, we can say the immunity. So let's say immunity is of two kinds. One, the first one is innate immunity. innate. What do you innate? Innate is something which you have got, which you are having since birth. Okay, some amount of immunity is there in your body as soon as you are born. It is naturally available in your body against diseases. So that is called as inborn or natural, which is nothing but innate. Innate is inborn or natural. So immunity can be classified into two main categories, innate and acquired. So this one, other one is acquired. And the different subcategories are as follows. The first one is innate. Innate immunity, also called as natural or native immunity. This immunity is by virtue of genetic constitutional makeup. It is there in the body without any external stimulation or previous infection. So this innate is natural, inborn, which is due to our genetic nature, due to our genes, due to our species. We as a human will not be having this particular kind of a disease. So when we by birth, being that particular species, are not affected by these diseases, we get that immunity as a innate or inborn or native or natural immunity. Okay, that is innate immunity. Now innate immunity can be of two kinds. The first one over here is specific and other is non-specific. Now first is non-specific, a degree of natural resistance to all infections in general. For example, humans do not suffer from the planned highly infectious diseases or even certain diseases of animals. So you can see that over here, non-specific, not specifically particular kind of diseases, but in general all the diseases which takes place to plants or certain diseases which takes place to animals, we are free from those diseases. So that's why we are having a non-specific inborn innate immunity towards all the diseases which can be caused to a plant or to certain animals. Okay, so that kind of immunity that we are not or we cannot suffer from any diseases of which are diseases related to plants or certain animals is called as non-specific innate immunity. Then there could be certain which is a specific, means there are certain kind of diseases which can take place only to certain animals, and in that, so certain, when you are having a particular disease only which is going to be a very big cause in the deaths of certain animals, but we as humans are free from it, then it comes as a specific innate immunity. Like for example, the dogs, they do suffer from a disease called distemper. Now distemper is a disease due to which almost we can say most of the dogs die due to this particular kind of infection. So if a dog gets infected by distemper, mind well, that distemper infection cannot even do a smallest harm to the humans. So we have a immunity towards the distemper infection. Accordingly, we have a specific innate immunity against distemper. Got it? So that's why this is a natural resistance to a particular kind of germ only. Some races or some individuals do not suffer from certain infectious diseases. So we are having that particular immunity, and if that particular race or that particular species do not have that particular, they cannot have that particular infection in them. That's why that is a specific innate immunity. For example, human beings are immune to a highly infectious disease of dogs known as distemper, which kills about 50% of all infested dogs. 50% of the infected dogs who would have got distemper would die. Whereas we human beings are immune to that particular disease. So we are free from the disease because we have got a specific innate immunity towards that particular infection. So this is a kind of the two types of innate immunity. So innate is natural, inborn, available to us right from the birth. That is because of our genetic constitution, because we are humans, that we are having the particular species, Homo sapiens. They have some non-specific immunity towards diseases and some specific immunity towards diseases of being a particular species. Now we move on to the next category of immunity, that is acquired immunity. The word itself tells you a lot of things about it. Acquired means something which you are going to receive or something which you are going to get within your span of life. So the immunity what you are going to receive throughout your life cycle is called as the acquired immunity. So resistance to disease which an individual acquires during his lifetime is called as acquired immunity. It may be a result of either a previous infection, that is having a person having once suffered from measles will not normally suffer from it again, or ready-made antibiotic supplies from antibodies supplied from outside. Passive immunity, like a person bitten by a poisonous snake is given an antivenin injection which contains antibodies for the poison that were produced in the body of a horse. So acquired immunity could be of two kinds. One is which is active, that is made in your body, okay, that is active. So we can say the acquired can be of two kinds. The first one is active. Of course, the next one will be passive. So active and passive are the two kinds of acquired immunity. If your body yourself produces the antibodies, then it is active. Okay? If the antibody is produced by your body against the infection, maybe due to a previous exposure to that particular infection, then it is an active acquired immunity. On the other hand, if you have suffered from an infection, like for example, if you have got a snake bite, so the snake venom has entered into your bloodstream. So to kill that blood venom, so to make the venom harmless, you are going to be injected by injection which is anti-venom. Okay, so anti-venom injection is a antibody which was not present in your body, but it was made by a horse, and the anti-venom that is present in the horse is injected in your body so as to render the venom harmless. So in this way, when you are injecting an antibody produced by some another body into your body and getting an immunity towards it, it is called as a passive acquired immunity. Okay, so that's why we have the one is previous infection, active, and ready-made is passive. So in detail we see active acquired immunity. This is a resistance developed by an individual due to a previous infection or antigen chemical found in the substance of a disease causing germs, which enters his body naturally, leading to naturally acquired active. So again, active immunity will be of two kinds. One is natural and other is artificial. So what do you mean by this? One thing is that the body, first thing we know that active is something which is made by your own body. That's the first thing. Second thing is that whether that production of that antibody in your body over here was naturally because the infection has entered into your body, or it was artificially generated by your body because of some kind of a additive entered into your body. That is nothing but vaccination. See, whenever vaccination is done, at that time what is being done is that particular germ is injected in your body, but in such a way that it is harmless. The quantity may be less, or it may be dead, or it may be some. So we'll learn about the vaccinations also. But so when vaccinations are given to your body, at that time you are injected with that particular germ in the body, and that germ has been understood by the body, and the body prepares a antibody for killing that germ. So what has happened? Recipe book में तो entry हो गया कि अरे हाँ, like for example, when you take a vaccine of chicken pox, what is going to happen? You are taking an injection of chicken pox vaccine. So basically it is some germs of chicken pox in a small quantity entering into your body, which will not harm your body because the quantity is too small. Your body understands that germ entering in the body, and hence it is going to start fighting against it. And when it fights against it, it has prepared that recipe book के अंदर entry कि okay, chicken pox के लिए ये ऐड करके ये बनाना है तो ये मर जाएगा. So that is how it has prepared the recipe. It is ready with it. So the next time the actual chickenpox virus enters into your body somehow due to contact, then what happens? It is going to be referring to the recipe book, और recipe book में दिखाया करते हैं हाँ chickenpox से मारने के लिए तो available है, and accordingly your body is artificially prepared or artificially getting immune towards certain infections. Hence it is called as artificial active acquired immunity. Artificial क्यों? Because it was being forced into your body, it was being generated, that condition was produced in your body so that it would generate an antibody for that particular infection. So that's why it's artificial. So the example over here will be vaccines. The vaccines are the kind which are artificial active acquired immunity. Right? The next is natural. Natural means what? You are actually suffering from the disease. Chickenpox हुआ, उसके लिए उसका इम्यूनाइजेशन के लिए एंटीबॉडी बॉडी ने बनाया, एंड अकॉर्डिंगली रेसिपी बुक में एंट्री हुआ, एंड देन यू आर फ्री फ्रॉम दैट डिजीज फॉर द फ्यूचर. Okay, in future you cannot get that disease because your body has already experienced the infection earlier in life, and hence it has got that naturally antibody in your body, body, that makes it natural active acquired immunity. So this is produced in your own body. So this is active, that is by previous infection. So it is when a previous infection has taken place, it is going to cause a natural active. Now the active means produced in our body. Okay, it is produced in our body, and whereas this is outside source. Right. So first one was active. Active means natural and artificial. Artificial when it is prepared in your body by some kind of a condition generated in your body by some injections. Then natural is when you are actually getting infected by this thing. So we see over here that acquired immunity, this is the resistance developed by individual due to the previous infection of antigen chemical found in the which enters in the body naturally, leading to natural acquired active immunity, or is introduced artificially as a vaccination, leading to artificially acquired active immunity. In either cases, the body lymphocytes react in two ways. They produce antibodies which freely circulate in the blood and lymph, and which binds to the microorganism to kill it. They produce killer cells carrying specific receptors of foreign antigens found on invading germs. The actively acquired immunity are usually long lasting, carried out through memory lymphocytes. So this is memory cells, which are memory lymphocytes, which are going to carry out this active immunity, because it is going to be stored in the memory. I told you about the recipe book. The next is passively acquired immunity. This is immunity provided by to an individual not by his own body, but from an outside source, by outside source in the form of ready-made antibodies. The passive acquired immunity again can be of two types: naturally acquired passive immunity, and other is artificial. So again here also there are two parts. One is natural, another is acquired, artificial. So first is natural acquired passive immunity. Natural acquired passive immunity, or natural passive acquired immunity. Both are correct. What is that? This is an example which is a very unique case, that if the mother who is having the baby in her womb, and at that time the mother suffers from an infection, and the mother produces the antibody to kill that infection, then the baby automatically gets the antibodies by birth. Okay, so like for example, if a mother who is pregnant and she is a pregnant female who gets infected by chickenpox, then it is for sure that the baby also has got the antibodies of the chickenpox, and the baby will never suffer from chickenpox in life, because it has got a naturally acquired passive immunity towards that particular infection. So it is in the naturally acquired passive immunity, the ready-made or the prepared mother's antibody may reach the fetus, developing embryo through the placenta. So that is one thing. Whereas artificial acquired passive immunity is in the word which I talk about, the horse. कि horse में से वो antivenom निकाल के हम लोग को दिया, तो that is artificially made by somebody else, that is some another animal made it, and we are taking it from them and injecting in our body. So artificially acquired passive immunity, in this the antibodies are produced in the blood of a horse or some other animal by injecting germs into its body. Anti-serum injections are prepared from the serum containing antibodies of such animal's blood and are injected into the body of the patient. For example, in the treatment of snake bite by antivenom, or that of a diphtheria patient by anti-diphtherial injection. So in these cases, anti-diphtheria and antivenom, they are going to be produced by some another animal, and it is immunity produced by them which we are taking up and immunization ourselves, artificially getting the passive immunity. Hafkins Institute in Bombay and another institute in Kasoli are preparing several such anti-sera. Antivenom for treating snake bites is also based on the same principle. For the sake of simplicity, let us just take the active and passive immunity and summarize the differences between them as follows. So we see over here, active immunity produces by one's own body, passive received from outside, not developed by one's own body. Active immunity induced by infection or by contact with immunogens, immunity producing agents or vaccines or allergies, whereas passive immunity provided by ready-made antibodies. Active immunity provides effective and long-lasting protection, whereas passive immunity protection is less effective and does not ensure against subsequent infection. ऐसा नहीं है कि आज मैंने एंटीवेनम इंजेक्शन लिया है तो बाद में मेरे को कभी भी कोई स्नेक बाइट करेगा तो मुझे कुछ होगा ही नहीं. No, it is only temporarily for that particular time period that it is fighting against the venom. Active immunity effective only after a certain time required for production of antibodies. So it cannot be immediate, it requires some time for the antibodies to jump. So you will be affected by the infection and then the antibody is going to be generated. So active immunity को थोड़ा time लगता है generate होने के लिए. Whereas passive immunity is immediate because already antibody which is injected into your body. So it is immediate effect. So this is how we are differentiating the in active and passive immunity. So these are different kinds of immunity, and this is a very important part of the chapter. And I think we'll stop here and we'll continue with the antibodies and other things in the next video.